Today we are at Garrett's Hair Salon, and we have Al and Bill, and we're going to be talking to them about how they came about coming into this business. Thank you very much for taking the time and letting us interview you guys.
How did you guys convince yourself that your idea for this business was an opportunity and not just an idea?
Well, this is something I've always wanted to do ever since high school. And the reason I got into the business was I had a father that had Parkinson's disease and could not take care of himself, couldn't shave himself and this type of thing. And that's how I got interested.
I'm sure you've received a lot of advice through the years coming into this business. What was the best advice you ever received?
The only tips I ever got was get out on business.
Did you ever write a business plan or do a financial projection before opening?
Before opening?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I ended up buying a salon off of a guy in 1970. So I guess, yeah, sort of I ran a business plan. The thing that, to be honest with you, in business in barber college, you never really had any business experience. We had no business classes, and you pretty much were on your own.
Speaking of finance, how did you end up funding?
Stainless steel
started?
in the
How
other
did you get
end,
funding for this?
and you just blend this,
Funding?
and for 45 minutes you just stir it.
Well,
It's completely
good question.
The original formula is
Funding for actually the stuff you see in here, I always had the money to do that. When I grew up, I was always taught if you didn't have the money, you didn't buy it. To be honest with you, it's an old school, and so for the stuff I had in here, I always had the money to do it, so I never had to finance this. The building, I ended up buying the building probably 15 years ago, and the way I got financing, I had a brother in the finance business. He was in the banking business, so I had an in, so to speak, I guess. He was vice president of the bank.
Being on Purdue's campus, you guys have kind of a diminished market during the summer. How do you guys kind of deal with that?
Yes, we do. I guess in this location here, we had probably several local people because we're on the edge of Purdue and we're also on the edge of residential. So we've always had a fairly decent summer business, but yes, it does diminish. So we've always been able to compensate for that by doing local people.
How do you market to students or like the local community?
Basically, we marketed students through the exponent.
Okay.
Of course, we're in the phone book, or were in the phone book. But as now, we really don't market ourselves because we're only working 3 to 4 days a week. And the employees that we no longer have. So we don't really, we're just doing it on basically, people know we're here.
If you were to start over, is there anything that you would do differently? And also going along with that, what are the drawbacks and what are the positives of owning your own business?
Your business's problems, not just products. They're experts who provide your business with solutions
Yeah,
for your
that's a
community.
good question. What would I do over again?
The local expertise.
The positive, of course, is I suppose you can kind of set your own hours. That would be a positive, and and then you get a certain amount of satisfaction from owning your own business and being successful with it. And there's certain out. The negatives is being self-employed. You got to provide your own health care, which is a big cost today. It's astronomical, matter of fact. And unfortunately, in the hair salon, in the hair business, you do not, you can't afford to supply health coverage for your employees, which is a big thing. And so that would be the downsides and the negatives. Other negatives would be trying to get the people that your employees to do what you think is right, that can grow the business, and that's probably a real negative. Some have the capability of doing that, and some actually don't. Because even in this business, you got to sell yourself every day, and some people cannot do that.
As a business owner, what would you guys say is like your biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges. Well, good help. And to be honest with you, as you get older, you get tired of babysitting. And you're going to understand that someday. Now you probably don't understand that, but you're always putting out fires and things of that nature, you know, 'cause when you got employees, some get along with it someday.
That's part of owning the business. It's probably the negative side. If you've got somebody that's working for you, then go ahead and say, you know, this is what you need to do, and if they don't do it, you need to tell them again. If they don't do it, then.
How long have you guys known each other? How long has it been in the business?
Since 1971.
How did you guys meet?
I don't know. Probably at some training that we took together, and we just kind of met and found out we're both Lafayette. And so we've just been friends ever since, actually, and ended up owning the shop together.
And with this all being like potential future business owners ourselves, what type of advice or like essential skills do you think are necessary like in order to start a business?
If you're glad to go to work in the morning, whatever you do, you'll be successful. Your idea of success and your idea of success, all are different. And if you're glad to go to work, it'll do good.
So I mean, we really love the business. I come here and interaction with people, and we've met people from all over the world. All over the world.
And still have contact with somebody, which is great.
That's a rewarding part of the business, actually.
You guys have obviously been here for a while, but how have you had to change with local competitors coming in like Great Clips or Bush or moving down the road? What sort of challenges have you been faced with?
Well, honestly, when we were going in our heyday, I never even thought them people being in competition with us. No. I never worried about the competition. I always had my thing that we were going to do, and that's what we did. And we had a plan, we worked the plan. In other words, I knew everyone knew what they were supposed to do, how they're supposed to treat the client, and that nature. And if you can do that, you don't have to worry about competition. We've had several chains come in, some have left, because this side of town is a different business than probably we're accustomed to. It's a 9-month business, to be honest with you. And then 3 months for the rent and stuff they'd have to pay, they couldn't survive.
More about your business. Since you're a business owner and an employee, who does your financing, like your income statements, or do you keep records of your income statements, budgets, cash flow, and that sort of things?
I do it myself.
Do you use,
and my wife helps me at home. She does.
Do you use like QuickBooks or any services?
I use Quicken, use Quick Payroll, and I had the employees to write the checks. And yes, before that, that's only happened in probably the last 10 years. Prior to that, we did it by hand.
Big spreadsheet.
And filling out reports for the government reports and stuff, you had to do it by hand. And you'd spend a lot of hours doing that. And when Quicken came along, it probably shortened the time tremendously.
Does anyone have any other questions?
I know somebody's got one.
All right, well, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Al, for your time. And
Good to have you.
No more questions?
Good luck.